So, with regard to Tantra, what can you tell us about Tantra?
Tantra is it's a kind of way of using sexual energy to reach a higher state. We all know, those of us who have orgasms, that when you have an orgasm, you go into a different place. And that's for a moment or a few moments or however long it is, you are in a different state. So the Tantric people, and Tantras, I mean, the Tantric writings have been date marked all more or less at the same time. The Indian, the Tibetan, and the Chinese Tantric classics all been date marked around 1500 BC, and they're all more or less saying the same kind of things. But then they've got different traditions within those cultures. So you've got the left-hand path, the right-hand path. In Western Tantra, a lot of it is being used to help people psychologically, because sometimes people have had wounding experiences when they're young, and they can go on a tantric course with some psychotherapy trained teachers in this country, and they can endeavour to heal those wounds. That is a different side of it from what I do. From what I do, we are using Tantra to access the divine, to access, and however you perceive the divine to be. For some people it's God, and for some people they don't call it God, but it's Mother Earth, nature, the divine, the Tao, whatever. And to get to that place, we are using that powerful energy to connect. And connect with your partner, connect with yourself, connect with the divine, so that you're using that energy. For example, we are all capable of procreation, generally speaking, right? Man is born with a constantly manufacturing source of sperm, and with one ejaculation, man can repopulate the continent of North America. Woman is born with 400, 500, 600 eggs. Now, it's not every time we have sex that we want to create new life, but we have that power to create life. And so by using that energy and recycling it, we can enhance our own lives, because the amount of energy you create in that moment is intense and immense. And so you can use that energy to feed your meridians, to enhance your bloodstream gets enriched, because your body is getting ready to create life. Whether you're a man, with all the little sperm really wagging their tails, getting ready to go, if you remember seeing that Woody Allen film where they're all lining up to go up the rocket. And for women, the bloodstream is getting enriched, all the hormones are getting ready to create a new life. We're not going to create life every time we have sex. When we're not creating life, then we can use that energy. And that's the basis of the Taoist form of Tantra.
Okay. So it's quite similar to the healing Tao, where you circulate that energy up through your spine and into the various other organs of your body.
That is exactly what it is. It's just different names. I mean, the Taoists tend not to call it Tantra, but it is effectively doing the same thing. Tantra is a Sanskrit word. It means to expand or to liberate. And so in the Taoist tradition, you're recycling the energy in the circle and the orbit going around and round, whereas in the Indian tradition, you're sending it straight up to the divine or down to the earth. So they're different cultures, and they do the practices in different ways.
Okay. And so men have to learn a different type of ejaculation, where they are circulating. They're circulating the energy without. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Oh yeah, that is absolutely right, and that's in the Taoist tradition. In the Hindu tradition, they have to surrender. Well, they don't have to, but the tradition is to surrender it in honor of the goddess, the divine. In the Taoist tradition, it's circulated so that you can retain that energy, you don't lose energy. It takes a little bit of practice of opening the channels, going up the back and down the front and sending it round and round and round. And that's instead of it all gushing out from the base of the being out through the gate of life and death, which is the point at the base of the being is called. So men need to learn to separate orgasm and ejaculation. They are two different nervous systems that operate them. Of course, we are accustomed to using them together, but with a little bit of practice, or actually a lot of practice, you can separate them so that one can have an orgasm without having an ejaculation. Now, what I have to say is that with practice you can have a full orgasm without ejaculating, but you never get quite the same emotional release as you do when you have the full ejaculation. And in the Taoist classics it is recommended that a man should ejaculate every so often anyway, because we are manufacturing sperm all the time. Woman loses energy through menstruation and childbirth. Man loses energy through ejaculation, and of course lots of other things. So we have to look after ourselves in that way. And really, the practices were originally developed so that the Yellow Emperor could service his harem of 1,400 wives and concubines without losing any energy. So this is one of the beneficial side effects of what was probably, and I was going to say a questionable practice. In those days, of course, it wasn't at all a questionable practice. It's what people did. Nowadays it would be, wouldn't it?
When women get beyond menstruation and childbirth,
yeah,
does that then change their practice?
It would change aspects of the practice because her physical body is changing, but the energy meridians and levels are still going to be there. So a woman would still be doing the breast massage, the ovarian massage, and the other practices. In fact, I had a client many years ago who was menopausal, and by learning the practices, she found that she wasn't experiencing the hot flushes and other symptoms of the change of life which she had been experiencing before. And then she did an experiment and she stopped doing the practices for a month, and the hot flashes and so on came back again. So the practices for women are very beneficial throughout their lives.
Okay. So you teach the men the one aspect, and Anamata teaches women the other aspect.
That's right. We have these separate groups where we deal with the specialist aspects or the gender-specific aspects. But then on the more advanced meditations, the groups join together. We don't have sex in class. I have to emphasize this. To the disappointment of some and the relief of others. Yes. So that in the mixed groups we are doing these internal meditations, but we've learned the physical practices, the gender-specific practice. And Anamata runs a group called the Jade Circle, which she'll tell you about when she comes and talks to you. And I run a group called the Jade Arrows, and we meet once a month. So guys, if you're listening in, then check it out on the website, send me your email, and I'll send you the information. And it's in two parts. In the first part, for people who are there for the first time, answering questions and doing explanations. And the second part, we focus on one aspect of the Taoist practice. It's a very powerful kind of internal Qigong, perineum power, using the empty force so that we guys can perform to our maximum and have maximum enjoyment. Peak performance, maximum enjoyment. That's what I'm selling.
Okay.